Good afternoon and welcome to Axel Technology. Today we are together, I'm together with Claudio Astori, our radio specialist. Me, I'm Enrico Vaccari from Sales Department. Thank you to Gianluca, who is directing the show, and thanks also to Stefano Grego, who organized the event. Today we are going to introduce you to Ramcom, our software to manage the advertisement from A to Z, from contract and orders to scheduling. Today Claudio will show us an overview and go maybe in some details and show you the user interface. While during the presentation, feel free to send us questions. So sooner or later we will stop the presentation and we spend a few minutes to answer your question. For your questions you can use the YouTube chat, see the bell icon on the upper right on your screen. So, Claudio,
okay,
it's your time.
Thank you, Enrico. Hi everybody, I'm the radio specialist at Axel Technology. We are now sitting in Bologna. I hope you're all very well. We are especially within the building of Axel Technology, where approximately 40 to 50 people work. So we are really in the heart of Axel Technology, and hello from here. So, starting to look at Ram-Comm, we should not forget to mention the radio suite by Axel Technology. You can have a quick look on the Axel Technology website. If you look for radio and you look for radio automation, you will find DJ Pro. You probably remember we had a webinar last week about DJ Pro. We have then VJ Pro, the visual radio, and then digital radio is the music and audio scheduler, while Ramcom, that is the subject of today's webinar, is the software for both business and traffic scheduling. Then we have also Social Hub and Soundtrack Studio that complete all the radio automation. Thank you for joining, guys. I want to have you within the software at soonest. And so here we are. This is Ramcom. You will see a screen now. But I would like to take your attention, first of all, on the menus that help us to explain what we are talking about. We have a library, okay, with tables, clients, where all the data are stored. We have then schedule, that is of course the result of all the work in the library, and then we have services, many services. Ramcom is a very rich program in terms of opportunities, in terms of chances, in terms of actually services for the best managed. So this is a sort of jewel, as it is not just a traffic scheduler. It's really, and you will see this, a business tool, a business software that helps manager and sales manager, particularly managers, to have the maximum out of the radio station and of their organization in the relation, of course, with clients. We have then, among the services, the media check. We will see something about this, which is just controlling if audio is missing or not. We have invoices. You can use Ramcom for invoices purposes. Then we have a lot of reports. Very nice part of Ramcom, very powerful. You have reports on many, many issues, windows, languages, and then a lot of utility. Okay, this was just a brief view of how the software is structured. But let's go within the library and see what's within the library. What you see here is a table which we will keep open, and is all the chances you have to set, definitely to set your data, to customize, to personalize your Ramcom experience. Thanking through the chance of setting exactly your data here, you can have really the best for you, for your station, from out of Ram-Comm. Don't forget, this is a software that is excellent in connection, of course, with the suite. Enrico can tell us.
Yeah.
Not only.
Oh yeah. Ramcom, first of all, Ramcom can operate for radio and TV and visual radio or web TV or radio. So it's multi-platform. Of course, Ramcom takes care of the advertisement part, but as well has provided many tools to import and export data in order to interact and to be integrated into any workflow in the radio. So can be connected to the accounting software of a radio station. Of course, it exports data to the playout that can be our software DJ Pro, but as well third party. And as well, the workflow is completed with the reconciliation, so it gets let's say the SRAN log or the log of what went on air in order to certify what has been aired and what not. So it's very useful for advertisement certification and also to prove your customers that you really aired the content, and in case of complaint you can always let's say prove that the advertisement went on air.
As we were saying, you can customize very easily Ramcom, and you have a lot of chances to set up criteria that are good for management and that are good also for marketing and sales and all the people involved. This is frankly a software for everybody working both in management, administration, accounting, and in the market and sales department. And a good thing about the software, before going on, is that we have a lot of security. So we can profile users with different accesses to the database so that, for example, big numbers or all the revenues can be seen just by the management and by the sales department.
Just a note before you start, Claudio, for those that are, I know today we have people connected from Europe, Americas, and Africa. For those that are already running with Ram-Comm, you might see some difference because the version that Claudio is showing us today is will be released very, very soon, hopefully within the end of the month, and so there are some improvement here and there, and so maybe the organization, the labels, and the architecture has been slightly modified. So don't be scared if you see different from your own Ram-Comm version and the one we are showing you. Sorry, Claudio, again to interrupt because we have one question, and it's from Uganda, James. How can I extract statistic directly from Ram-Comm? Secondly, is it possible to extract graphical statistic? The answer is yes. You see now on the screen under the menu reports, many reports already categorized by topics. So it can be related to sales, it can be related to scheduling, to invoice statistics, agent, and as well for your second question is do you have possibility to extract graphical statistics? One of the improvement is related to Microsoft Power BI that allows you to manipulate and analyze the data as you want. So Ramcom can export to Power BI, for example, but as well we have some customers that is connecting to Excel via connecting to the database via pivot tables and so on, in order to allow the broadcaster to analyze the data as he prefers. So Power BI is definitely the latest improvement.
Very good. We have now to show you the power of Ramcom, which is great. And to start showing the power, let me introduce you to the clients and order sections that are the key, where all the data are inserted. You have here on the upper side of the screen, you have, of course, the clients, and on the lower part, you have the orders. Now, let us immediately look at one order. I chose this one, Buitoni. It's pasta from Italy. Do you like pasta? We are treating now an ad campaign about pasta. I hope similar campaigns will be played also in your country, but here Buitoni has a large market for pasta. So Buitoni is on the air, and as you see here, you have several areas, several tabs you can click on. General date, but then you have agents and amounts, and this is where the money is about. Installments, this is money too. Summary, scheduling, special agreements. You see here, you can set, when inserting the order or the contract, if you prefer to call it so, inserting the order, you can select many specifics. Of course, you can decide the invoicing company. This is particularly good for groups, because if you have many stations, you can decide whether a campaign on a radio station is invoiced by the group or by the specific company. You can select this very easily. Category is important because it's product categories. So if I have two pastas, I don't want them to sound on the air next to each other. So I want to separate them. And if I insert this, I can both have statistics on products and have distance, a social distance also between products categories. That is really in the cluster, not really social. Sales zones is quite interesting. You have certainly agents or advertising agencies in different parts of your market, of your area. In this case, we have a simple, very easy distinction. We have east, north, south, and west. But if you have provinces, if you have regions, if you have market areas, you can easily set them. And this information will go along with the order, with the insertion, and you will see in the time that you can check how is your business in the different areas. Once we have inserted, if you want, of course, sales zones, we have also sale origin. Sometimes you have inbound. That means clients are calling you. It's just like fish jumping into the boat, okay?
No effort.
No
so
effort.
You just sit down and wait for the
so
orders comes in.
You receive the phone call and somebody is typing directly into Ram-Comm what's going on, okay? This is inbound. Another chance would be, which is, I'm afraid, I think, the most likely one, it's sales action.
If you are not in this scenario, which is the best one, you may have to take some action. And
so you have to move your boat and to work for the fish, okay?
So all those fields, Claudio is showing you fields that allows you to classify the campaign, and all those information will be very precious then for statistics, once again.
This is a very detailed software, and the power is also in detail. So sometimes you build barters with clients. What does it mean? It means that you promote a newspaper and you have in change pages for your promotion on the newspaper. Or you promote buitoni and you get pasta back, for example.
Someone prefers Rumo, but I don't want to step into this discussion.
So the contract type can be set, for example, this is just an example, as barter. Businesses in barter, it means we can have half in barter and half in cash, or we can have also a typical business standard solution that is a typical contract with payments to the radio station.
Few words, the value you are looking now, you see now business and standard are our standard classification, but of course every radio station is free to change this description and adapt to its own business.
By the way, this reminds me about the languages. We have Ram-Comm talking 5 languages. Of course, we have
a sixth one is also customizable. So
yes,
if you want to, let's say, translate all the terms and descriptions, you can translate the software in your own language.
The good thing is that you can also, for statistic purposes, describe if you want a client, if this is a client renewal, Boitoni with pasta getting back after a campaign that has been already aired on the radio, or it is a new client. So very interesting to check the quota of the new clients and the time. This is so very, very, very interesting. Author is an interesting field because we want the responsible for inserting the data to be noticeable because there might be some mistake, and we want to know who is inserting the contract. In this case is Enrico Vaccari, okay? he inserted this contract. So if some mistakes is on,
You blame
then we
on
will
me.
not really blame, but I ask Enrico, are you sure? Is there anything to be changed? So you see very useful and very detailed data, but this is just the beginning, because the power of Ramcom brings you much, much further. This is agents and amounts. What is agents and amounts? This is, for example, where, and we start talking about money, and this is why Ramcom is probably more a business software than just a traffic one. We can insert here the agency. In this case, I selected ADV Enterprises. Of course, it's a fantasy name, but it's real what we pay to this fantasy name, 15% commission. The good thing is that we can add also agents about that. So you see we have Jane Taylor, which is an agent of our company that gets another 50%. So we know that this contract will cost us 30% commissions. These are just examples. I hope you have wiser policies in your company and you pay a little bit less commissions, but this is up to you and to your market. What you see here is then we have other information regarding spots and regarding the campaigns. We have then also installments. I'm sorry, maybe we can check something more here. Yes. This was quite important, is important. Here you have several lines of your order. So your order is not just one order. It's a list. It's a sequence of lines with certain orders. Why? Because you can have, first of all, different objects. You have, as a more typical object, you have the spot, okay? A 30-second, here we have a 15-second spot, and you can have any duration of the spots. But we can have other things. We can have billboards, if you sponsor, for example, a weathercast. You can have commercial announcements, if your hosts simply mention the name of a client and add a text to this. So each line can serve a specific objective. In this case, as you see, we have here a spot price of 2,000 and we have a number of spot of 20 sometime, somewhere, yes. And you can also describe premium spots. It means that you can have not only a number of spots that have been sold, but you can also add these for free. Premium are normally for free. It means that you sell 10 spots and you give 2, 3, 4, 1 or nothing for free. Of course, Ramcom follows you under this, with this policy, so it calculates then the exact spot price once you consider also the premium in the package. And of course, as I told you, there can be as many lines as you want. Here we have a radio campaign and we have a TV campaign on VJ Pro, on the visual radio. But
or on TV.
Or on TV. But you can have, of course, even billboards or spots of different duration. Can be 15 spots after a first campaign with 30-second spot, for example. Very interesting, we have also the installments. In this case, you see we have installments on consumption. What does it mean? That we have agreed with the client that we invoice at the end of the month and we invoice as many spots as the one that have been aired. So this is quite effective. It's very good. You see, you have an
open the drop-down menu.
Yes.
You just see, you know, how many formula you can agreed on with your customer. So on consumption certified, and there's a huge list, and you can create your own criteria.
So the good thing about Ramcom is that you have virtually no limit in freedom. I like software of Axel technology because they give you freedom. They don't bring you to close your mind or to think just in a way. They offer to you a base of selection, a base of choice that is vast, and you will certainly fit very well into Ram-Comm software. We have a question, by the way, I see.
Okay, always, again, James from Uganda. What is the duration limit for a spot advert when using Ram-Comm? Okay, duration limit, most of the time you have no limit for a duration of one single spot. All over the world, in Italy it's like that, but in many countries, normally you have to respect a total amount of advertisement per hour. So of course this is a setting that can be done inside Ramcom, and whenever you exceed this limit, Ramcom advise you, because there are some month of the year or some specific time of the year where you are in some way forced to violate the limit imposed by the law. I can't say that, but it happened. Like in Italy for Christmas time, most of the radio stations are fully packed of advertisement, and it's always very hard to say no, we cannot air your advertisement. So sometimes if you want, you can set Ram-Comm and you can accept the violation of the rules in terms of your maximum duration of spot and length of each commercial break.
But it's up to you.
Yeah. Secondly, please throw some light on how to use different rotation in Ram-Comm.
Okay.
We will be there right just after the...
Oh yes, but just for his knowledge, I hope you see this screen. This is where you create clusters. You see, in this example, we have all the hours, all the timing that is here. I hope that with the mouse you can follow. And in this case, we have decided to create these clusters with a maximum number of spots and a maximum amount of time on the days, on each day of the week. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can have then song links on the cluster and whatsoever. So to answer your question, first of all, you create the clusters where you want and in the days you want. So the grid, the so-called inventory grid, is really up to you. Then we have, this is named at present time a cluster creation. This is a group of clusters that you consider to be effective in specific rotations. So you can decide in this case to have a very strict rotation. That means that in this case, which is nice, you have all the time signals. For example, you see 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, because you sponsor the time signal. And this is another rotation that you can have, not only a rotation within a 3-hour break. As you see here, you can even specify very strictly where you want your rotation to happen. With refer both to a morning show or to a time signal or simply to a grid rotation that you may like or you may think that is best for the clients.
I think we can show him also the rotation settings there.
Yes,
and
it's another issue.
This
yes,
is another criteria to manage rotation apart from the day of the week, and these are special rotation that you can configure yourself, and it's fixed. Alternate, even, odd, and so on. You can create your own, and these are for, if you have a very predefined scheduling and fixed, you can use one of them. Nowadays, to be honest, things are changing, especially in the European market. Most of the time, the duration of an order for a new campaign, sometimes it's very short. And it's something you have to do manually because it's every daily job to adjust, insert a new order and make it, matching with the previous one that are already part of the scheduling. And so you have plenty of ways to manage rotation.
Yes. Let's go.
Oh, these are just settings.
Yes.
And again, those settings and policy can be applied for each single campaign, for each single spot.
And must be inserted then there. Here, let's go to orders. These are summaries is another important tab into the order section that we are watching. You see, of course, the contract, the origin of the contract of the order, what has been consumed, what is the remained, and you have a constant update of what's going on regarding the agreements with the client.
It's a recap. It's a
yes.
recap of the current order.
And here we are with the scheduling. As I told you, we can look into a schedule. You see here, you can, this is a schedule from a certain date to another end date, a certain number of days. This is very long.
Yeah.
Buitoni is really thinking huge advertising must create huge big business.
But this was in 2018.
Okay, it was some time ago. So it's not nowadays really. So we have all the information. This is very interesting also because, of course, campaign objects can be, as I was mentioning, commercials, spots, can be also sponsorship, or can be, we can add more fields, of course, can be even hosts announcements, commercial announcements, or whatever. We can even have programs sponsored, and this is also regarding campaign. If we have a special offer, we can have it here, the name of the campaign, sorry. And here is all the frequency and all the priority you have for programming the spots, in this case on 24 hours. You can select, of course, thinner periods where to have advertising, and you can describe them here. So this is another good example. You can have a selection of the hour points where the radio station should have its clusters. So you have really a very strong and I would say a powerful control of the scheduling process of all your lines that are part of your order. We have also a part for special agreements. If you have the agreement, for example, of creating an event for a client. This is quite typical. Events are becoming the second business of the radio stations after the spot, the advertising business. And if you want here to add information about the costs or the agreements you have for organizing an event for a client, you can have this as special agreements, and the software will follow you on this very effectively. So I think you should have seen what is the power of the orders that you put into action, and you can have, of course, all the reports, but what you have afterwards, after working, of course, orders, is already, as you have probably used all the best sets for your own radio station, you have the first product, the first output that is really the schedule. Should be already open. Yes, it's here. This is how the schedule is in front of your eyes. I'm afraid there are not too many colors, but you can customize very well with the colors. I mean, you can, for example, add a specific color to sponsors. You can have a specific color for commercial announcements, or even product categories or whatever. In this case, we have not too many colors. I'm sorry for that. But normally, this is a very light, very rich, color-rich screen. On the very left, here you see it's the exact time and the duration of the hour point of the cluster. You see here we have Opel time signal. Then we have, again, a lot of pasta here, Barilla again. Then we have Dixon. We have several clients. And what you can see here is that we can even easily move in the schedule, in the log, we can move very easily the spots from one cluster to the other. So if for some reason I want to make an edit, I can certainly do that. I just make a click and drop, and I take Buitoni Sfoglia, and I bring it here because I like it having here, or there are some other reasons. And you see, click, and we have moved a spot from one point to the other. Consider for your information that you get the exact timing here, and of course the time when you do moves is immediately updated. So very good for edits, manual edits, very easily. And we have a lot of examples of clients making this use.
Usually you have people, inserting orders into the software and generating the playlist automatically. And of course, before you export this playlist for the on-air, you can always have a look, see if there are conflict, and with colors you can highlight, hey, watch out, Coca-Cola is next to Pepsi Cola, or you are exceeding the maximum length for this commercial break, and once again you can approve it. To give you an idea, I think of how powerful is the tool, apart from all the features that Claudio is showing you, I think the big advantage is the efficiency and the accuracy in the management of commercial. Efficiency means usually in 4 minutes, one order is into the system and the order is properly scheduled for the entire duration without errors and mistakes. So even if, for example, a customer gives you a new audio and you have to replace it, it's just a one click and you are done. To give you exactly an example of how the efficiency is improved, is we have one of our major customer is in Italy, is covering the whole north of Italy, and which is covering also Alps Mountains. Alps Mountains is made of plenty of valleys, and every valley is a commercial area. See, with Ram-Comm, yes, we can manage advertisement splitting. So during advertisement, we have different contents in one area despite the other. And this customer is managing 5 radio stations with, with a total amount of 70 commercial area. And all this is managed by 2 people. Yes, very, very able to use the software, but it's just practice. And 2 people are in charge of this entire workflow, which is amazing. So 70 areas, it's like having 70 radio stations.
We have a question, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Jean-Luc, can I use the same customer base to manage radio and TV advertisement? Yes. So that exactly, the database is one. You have all your customers, and customers can buy advertisement on both media, or only on radio, or only on TV. We have, of course, a radio and TV channel, yeah. So as I said at the very beginning, you can use it for radio and visual radio, only TV, and any combination.
I found quite interesting the combination of solutions that you can have, because you can have one database with all the stations you have, both radio and TV, and you decide all the time whatever company should invoice. Or you can have a management of separate databases,
correct, having
each station a single database. So somebody finds more useful to have one database. I would be part of that group. Yeah. Other ones prefer to have separate databases. They can do that.
The thing is combining the needs. Your invoicing, your accounting department may need to invoice some orders with the radio company or with the TV. So technically you can merge and keep everything together, but then decide to invoice with one company or the other. So there are plenty. This is just a matter of settings in the one-time settings when you buy the software.
Good.
This can be also changed after a while if you need to modify your workflow.
Okay.
Can I use the same customer?
Yes.
Oh, that's the same question. Okay.
Okay. We have then, after having looked quite quickly the library part with, of course, the order section, after having looked at the schedule very quickly, I was I would like to inform you about the services that Ram-Comm has inside the software, because they are frankly very, very interesting. Media check is something essential, and I know there is always a last second rush to find the missing spot on Friday evening at 6, before having the spots aired, the campaign starting the next morning. You can have a continuous control thanks to media check, and simply here, when you have an order and you don't have the audio, you have alarms, you have a list, you have something you can of course use, because naturally if you call the client last second to ask for a spot, probably you will skip the beginning of the campaign, so you need to be on time to assist clients and agents to get the audio on the air. This is essential, and it is so relevant that you see it takes a little tab on the menu. This is an essential function. Enrico already mentioned that there is invoicing included in the software. You can do invoicing, of course, and you can have provisional invoicing, definitive invoices. You can then manage also bank receipts and client bank statements and whatever. But of course, if you have set, for example, that invoicing is available at the end of the month on consumption, for example, maybe you remember the order we inserted a few minutes ago, then you can have automatic invoicing for that. Great thing, and a lot of use.
Few words about that. Let's say most of the time, big organization, they do invoice with the accounting software, because they not only invoice advertisement, there are plenty of other services to be invoiced. And so most of the time they need a centralized management of invoicing within the accounting software. So in that cases, most of the time we can create or customize interfaces to export what has to be invoiced to customer to the accounting software, and then all the invoice process is managed by the accounting software, because Ramcom is not an accounting software. That has to be clear. It manages contract agents, scheduling, and so on. Invoice for, I would say, small, medium-sized organization. And in case of big organization, interfaces to other software can be done.
Okay. As Enrico was mentioning, thanking also to a question probably, the reports are a great part of Ram-Comm. I would like to show you that there are reports for everyone in the company, because there are many people involved in the use of Ram-Comm. We have people in management, we have people in marketing and sales, and also within management and marketing and sales, they do different things. So they have a different part in the workflow. And so you have reports that are for sales, and they are very, very powerful. You see, you can ask for criteria like area or agent or zone or whatever. Very, very powerful. And of course, not only sales reports, accounting. This is an important key. So who works in administration can check what's going on and have continuous updates. But also agents can find interesting using reports, because they can get lists about their performance, the agency they're working. So it's very, very interesting to have also reports by agent and for agents. They can also know their commissions, and this is an important key. It's not a secret, and it's good that they know.
But every department needs his own statistic. Like, say, I need to know how many contracts orders are going to expire next month, how many new orders are starting on next month. So Ramcom provides tools for different departments, from the top management that just need to have an overview of the business and do strategical
revenue outcome, for example.
But at the same time, there are tools for the operator, the one that practically place the spot on top of the daily grid.
One final thing, well, we have, of course, the opened windows, yes?
Just go back and a few words about Power BI. This is one of the latest improvement, and is the integration with Microsoft Power BI for business intelligence. So this allows you to export the data in amazing manipulation with graphics and data analysis.
Okay. Afterwards, yes, Windows languages, utility. We have lots of more things to tell you, but we want to be quite brief and compact if we can. You can have a recalculation, of course, of air times, duration, classes, depending on the changes you made. You can have temporary shifts. This is quite typical. You have a new program or a special event and you want to move a cluster, for example, but just for a specific duration of days, for example. So just for 7 or 14 days. You don't want to affect directly the hour points, the clusters that you set. You just define here which hour point has to be moved, where, and for how many days. Very good, for example, when you have shows or specific shows going on the air, and in some cases changing the things or the regular clusters that you have already organized. There are a lot of specific, of course, parameters. I would like to inform you that we have also splits. We have pronounced a couple of times this word, which is important. Yeah. You can have a wonderful management of splits thanks to Ramcom. Well, for example, you can have a very automatic fill of the gaps and the splits. So if you have a gap, if you have, for example, advertising covering just 2 of the 3 minutes, you can use Ramcom to fill the gap of the minute that is missing, that should be blank, with the fill of, for example, premium spots or standby spots, or you can add promos, you can add other music elements that can help you to have a sort of perfection or nearly to perfection fill of the exact 3-minute time of your splits. We have then also a feature on that. We have
so when it comes to splitting advertisements, so for our friend listening from Uganda, for example, you have different, during breaks of commercial break of 10 o'clock, we have different advertisement on Entebbe and Kampala. So if this 3 minutes, if you have a little gap, because on one area you have 3 minutes and a half, and the other one is 3 minutes 20, we have plenty of ways to fill the gap. The first one is in Ram-Comm you can decide specific fillers, and then you can also set eventually music if the gap is long enough to fit a song. So that then artistically the result is much better. And then we can also make an automated adjustment of the duration thanks to an algorithm that stretch the length, of course without modifying the tuning, the audio, the perception of the audio within Ram-Comm. So you don't care even about this gap, because you just feel the commercial break, and then it's the Ram-Comm takes care to optimize the gap between split different areas with different time duration.
Well,
few other questions.
We can have a question. We can probably remind to the gentleman listening to us now what were the questions this morning, because we had a previous webinar for other parts of the world.
So somebody asked us about currency. Maybe, Claudio, if you switch on the main settings, the one with the long list, we can quickly go through them and just show currency. Yes, now in this database we have dollars and euro. So the answer is yes, we can manage different currencies. Integration with third-party automation. Yes, Ram-Comm already offers some predefined tools to export and import commercial toward third-party softwares in terms of scheduling. So if you are using music scheduling software like Music Master, Selector, Power Gold, or our own DigiWare, because actually we do have a scheduling software, the commercial scheduling will be merged to the 24 daily playlist automatically. Another question. Oh yeah.
External agency.
Yeah, good. Because Ram-Comm is not only intended for broadcasters, for radio and TV, but When it comes to small radio station, they do not have even the team, the sales team, so they rely on advertisement collected by agencies. So yes, we also sold the Ram-Comm, is used by agency that takes care to collect advertisement, create plenty of playlists, because maybe in the group of radio station, there are some of them interested in some specific, advertisement can be addressed to different radio according to the coverage and some other criteria.
So this is, I think we have seen the overall.
Maybe looking at the list which is displayed right now, very quickly you can have a better idea on how let's say, comprehensive the software Ramcom is. So you see, just reading the menus, agency, agents, areas, author, balance items, of course those settings have to be done once at the setup. Banks, so campaigns,
the summer discount is
with
nice.
Discount and special policies, payment terms, cluster for radio. Here you have to predefine the clusters for all your medias, so radio 1, radio 2, radio 3, and so on. Plenty holidays. Let's say all those fields and metadata are necessary to have a workflow which is really comprehensive and gets improvement and result for the radio business, because Ramcom is intended for those radio that needs to make money out of advertisement. Of course, if you are a governative radio station, maybe you can get finance from the government, but in case of a private network, this is a mandatory tool. I think I can also spend a few words about the licensing. Ramcom is sold per media and per user. So if you are a clever guy and you can do everything yourself, maybe with just one client, you can do the job. But as well, in large organization, Ramcom can be configured for contemporary and simultaneous users spread on the network. So it's a client-server application, and it can grow with your organization. I would say that
I would like to thank you all for joining and listening and participating to this webinar. We will have other webinars by Axel Technology to follow. There will be a VJ Pro
yeah, you might
webinar.
be interesting to follow. Some of them I think are already available on our website of webinars that we did in the past, but there are new ones scheduled for the next future. And so most of them, I would say the most related to Ramcom are for sure the VJ Pro, which is the TV automation that follows the radio for visual radio. And the other one is Djur, which is our music scheduling software.
Yes. And you can find on our YouTube channel also the other webinars as well. Okay. So you can select them.
For any other question, feel free to contact us. From Claudio, Enrico, and Axel, we really want to thank you for attending this presentation, and we hope to see you soon.
Look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.